JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Thursday, February 6th, 9:06. Talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P futures are actually at the highs of the morning here. SPYs at 605.85. Ahead of Amazon earnings after the close, and then we have the jobs report tomorrow morning. Interesting stuff, right? Yesterday was the lowest volume session in months, and that was in the midst of the volatility we've had over the last 2 weeks. So pretty amazing stuff. The VIX dropped, yields dropped, and I keep saying the yields, that's such a good sign, especially for the smaller cap names. So hopefully that trend continues. After the close today, we've already had 5 of the Magnificent 7 report, and we're still waiting on NVIDIA. But it's the results outside of Facebook, Meta, have been the markets have kind of pulled those names. I mean, Apple was up, but it reversed. Same, Tesla was down, Google, Microsoft. So all 4 of those names have not performed well after the report, and markets are still right near a stone throw away from all-time highs. So I think that bodes well. And there's always especially over the last 2 years, the market breadth, right? Only a few stocks are responsible for most of the gains in the market. And you remove those, markets really aren't up too much. But it's you could spin, you can cherry pick all the numbers you want. Here we are, right? This is what the market's giving us, and so we'll see how things hold up here today. I remain cautiously optimistic. I think 610 or so is going to come on a SPY again, and then hopefully the next time 610 breaks, it holds, and then we can start to look for more gains. The thing is, I think Ryan Dietrich posted at the start of the week. The end of February is typically historically not the best performing time frame, so something to be aware of. And then this is the yields, which I posted in the chat room. Sorry for spamming the chat room, but here's the charts. So all going in the right direction. So now individual names at first. I'll talk about Shopify here. It's over 122 here in the pre-market. Amazon reports after their close. I don't know how much of a sympathy move, but if there's a decent report by Amazon, and of course it's going to encompass the holiday season, so of course it's going to be a big number. Maybe I'll bode well here for Shop. I'll probably lock a few more of my calls in at the open because they're in the money, so they might be, I don't know, they'll be $1.80, $2, I would assume. And then just to hold the last couple for tomorrow. Call me crazy, I think 125. I was saying that yesterday, and here we are, stone throw away also from 125. So that's probably what I'll hold for. So that's Shopify. Great trade again, deja vu all over again from last week. SSYS it's up 35% this week. So 20% on Monday, 10% on Tuesday, and then yesterday flat as a pancake. Again, I think this bodes well after its big move to see it pretty much just consolidate the gains yesterday. 13, it breaks over 13 today. I'll look to get some June strikes. And then I think once that 14 handle breaks, it's almost like I wouldn't say a guarantee it hits $20 in the coming months, but to me, that's like a big spot. So I've been saying, and I said on, I think it was Tuesday morning's watch list, I think it heads much higher in capital letters. I think it heads much higher in the coming weeks. Arista Networks, still shame on me. I wouldn't say shame on me, but I should have tried deja vu with Arista Networks as well with Shopify, but it wasn't doing too much at the start of the week. And then you have to think with Google's earnings showing that huge $75 billion CapEx spending for 2025. And that's also, you have Meta, I think they're $60 billion. So that you saw Broadcom rallying yesterday, and I'm surprised Arista hasn't recouped more of the losses from DeepSeek last Monday. 118, that was the handle hit last Friday when I had the strikes. If it gets over 118, I think it heads back into the 120s. I might look for some lottos for today, 120s, and I might look for some 120. I think the 125s look pretty inexpensive on a risk reward basis on Arista Network. So it's funny that it sold off on the DeepSeek news, which who knows how that all plays out. But then it hasn't rallied as much on this CapEx spend story, which is much higher than expectation, which should bode well for some of these names that are just part of that whole infrastructure. So like ANET, don't be surprised I had some spec lottos today. Teladoc, I've been sitting on those February 1250s, and then it was rallying yesterday on acquisition news. So it's one of those, it just helps add some more capabilities to their virtual teleconference solutions. And I don't want to be in a spot where I miss earnings. Not only that, I don't want to be in a spot where it continued to rally and I had to pay higher for the call. So I went and got some March strikes. Big setup here. If it get back over those end of November to early December 1220, I think it was 1225 highs, I think this is off to the races as well. So Also had that Amazon news, which I'm surprised it didn't rally too much on that, because some of the reason Teladoc is where it is, because Amazon, you have HIMS, they all offer these virtual solutions with the capabilities of being able to give customers prescriptions, right? I mean, that's the big deal. When you go to a doctor's office, it's not like you're going in there and they're giving you aspirin, right? You're there most times they do a prescription. So some of that, the benefit with Teladoc was being able to do prescriptions virtually, but now you have solutions, and so I think the partnership with Amazon to get listed there, I think is also bullish, which I don't think has been fully appreciated with stock. So that's my rant there for Teladoc. VKTX. So at the end of the day, yesterday, I locked most of my February 45 strikes in for some small profits. I was hoping for a bigger premium build yesterday. That didn't happen. After the close, not much in the way of great updates. They just gave updates on their studies. I think there's more data coming in the second half of 2025, also initiating more studies. So it's more about the commentary. You have analysts this morning reiterating their bullish stance on the company. Some have lowered price targets a little. Most have reiterated or maintained overweight ratings. But then you read the headlines that says Viking is down in the pre-market because of its EPS, like an EPS miss. I'm like, EPS has nothing to do with what VKTX is trading right now. All it has to do about updates. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it bounce. LLY reported earnings this morning that a huge beat with some bullish commentary. So I think that whole area, although actually it gave back those gains, we'll have to see how it performs here today. I mean, I probably have to stare at my February 45s for a while here, but I only have a couple. And then who knows? Maybe you never know. There's always a specter of buyouts. So that's VKTX. Other names I'm watching, and Netflix, I was talking about it. It's post earnings. I think it's going to head up to $1,100 over the coming weeks and months. So don't be surprised if I add some spec calls either for this week to 1025 and maybe next week 1050. That's Netflix. Why am I having problems here getting this up? Roku had a great end of session surge to close at I don't know. I have that close at highs up nearly 2%. Still eyeing some more strikes possibly, but I'll just hold what I have now. They report earnings a week from today. Baidu disappointing, gave back all of its gains from Tuesday. Still like these. I think the China ADR is just on the cusp. It's one of these days they're going to start to break out. Also, still have my eyes on DocuSign. The premiums for next week went down. The 105s look pretty inexpensive on a risk-reward basis. I keep saying 107's coming. It's just going to take a little kick in the butt. Maybe this is it here today. So don't be surprised if I had some strikes there. I'm trying to think of some of the other names I'm watching here. Arista. TripAdvisor, I was looking great yesterday. By the noon hour, it was almost near 18, and then gave back 40 cents into the close. Still like that one. I think they report earnings in 2 weeks, so I possibly might look to lock the last of my June strikes in and just hold the March for now, because the acquisition, or at least they're acquiring the stake of Liberty TripAdvisor's stake is not going to close till the second quarter, so maybe that removes the possibility of M&A before then. So that's kind of the thought process there. So I want to see premiums erode, especially if there's a iffy quarter. So that would be that. And I think that's it. Roblox this morning. Gosh, one of those stories. It's like you have a lot of bears on the name who have been just kind of touting the young kids side of the business, right? That people might be exploited. Sad stuff, right? But that goes for any social media and things like that. So that's what they've been using, right? And because of that, the stock was oversold. So then it gets bought up. And then this morning comes out and the numbers are pretty not too bad, right? It's a beat, but they, removing estimates for users, bookings came down, whatever. And you see it's such it shows that some of these shorted names are so sensitive that they could just take advantage. But interesting story nonetheless. I think that's it, folks. I'll be back on later. Let's have a great day. Rock and roll.